Hi everyone. So yesterday I did a live stream, writing a story idea that I had, and sort of trying to write a story, like a storyboard and storyline for a film that I had an idea of that I've very strongly based off of a dream that I had the other night, 2 or 3 nights ago. So a lot of my story ideas I actually get from dreams that I remember, and I write down the dreams if I can remember them. Even if they're vague and I sort of change some details because I can't remember them fully, I still write them down so I can have sort of ideas for the future films and sort of story ideas. If that makes sense. So, cut to I think it's about 2 days ago now, 2 nights ago. I had a dream. I can't remember it very well now, but I think once I remember certain parts of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it down, and I've already written part of it down. And I'm going to be changing it at some point. So I actually talked about the dream in real life. Not in real life. I did, but I don't mean that. I didn't mean to word it like that. I mean I talked about it in a live stream. That's what I meant to say. I've got 3.5 pages worth of stuff, but one of the pages is complete rubbish because it's basically repeated itself. Because I forgot I wrote the other stuff down. So I'm going to read the stuff out that I've got first of all, and sort of have the rough ideas that I've got for the storyline. So it starts off with it's set in the US, specifically 2 cities, which is Richmond, Virginia, and what's the other one? And Nashville, Tennessee. And for the start of the film is where it flashes back to a few months before, which is when I have a bit of not like a rivalry, but like a confrontation with someone who's in my running long jumping team, my athletics group basically, at my school, and he's nothing but trouble because he's part of a really dangerous gang. Actually, no, everyone thinks he's in part of a dangerous gang, and it turns out he is in a dangerous gang, and but no one really knows for sure. I don't really want to be in their business, so what they try and do is no one even listens to them because they're scared of them basically. So I have a rivalry. I'm going to read exactly how it's written down on this, because I've written it down on this. So, flashback to a few months before. Set in the US, which is Richmond, Virginia and Nashville, Tennessee. I'm going to start off from Richmond, Virginia, because that's where it starts off, and we sort of flee to Nashville, Tennessee. So it says, I have a rivalry with someone at school in my athletics team. Everyone thinks he's in a dangerous gang, or part of a dangerous gang, and since I beat him in running and long jumping, he wants to teach me a lesson. And then it just says where the story takes place, and then that small scene at the start of the video is going to be basically just setting the scenes for everything else. And I think I'm going to add some sort of subtle stuff in there that sort of what's the word I'm looking for? What was it now? Foreshadows. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Foreshadows the stuff that's going to happen next. So flashback to a few months later. I'm 19 and I'm looking to buy a car that I see for sale in my area. And it's in quite a dodgy place, and it's parked in front of a really dodgy looking place. And I have suspicions that it might belong to someone or be part of some sort of gang that I had a rivalry with a few months before, because it's where a lot of people hang out to do drugs and stuff and smoke and whatever. So yeah, so that's what I've got. And then so what I do, instead of me talking to them in person because I might recognise who I am, what I do is I persuade my mum to call for me and ask for the car. And an older woman picks up with a foreign accent, and she answers the phone and starts talking with my mum. And at first she thinks that everything's normal. This part I haven't added in yet because I haven't written it down. But it starts off with a normal conversation about the car, the sort of that's basically the what's it called? The information about the stuff and so on. Simple information being exchanged, and then the woman starts to sort of become a bit, I guess, say some really weird and alarming stuff, and then she just abruptly says that she knows where we live and who we are, and she says that, and she reads out our address as well, and she says that her and the boys are going to be coming for us, and we better watch our backs. And then she says, I'm sorry, my mum tries to hang up on her, and the phone hangs up, and the call seems to be ended because the phone, like once you hang up, you press the hang up button, the app closes down. That's what happens. But what happens though is that the woman keeps talking, the phone freezes up. So it's basically on the home screen of the phone, but the phone can't turn on and off, and the person's still talking, the woman's still talking, and she's saying stuff like threats and whatever. And she's saying that if we want to keep our throats, then we're going to have to be out of Richmond by what time? Certain time, or within the next hour or whatever, like a certain time period. And we have to get our certain stuff, like get all our stuff up and packed up, and never come back, because they'll know if we're in the city. Because I don't know how. Maybe I can sort of add some sort of way, that maybe like some sort of tracking device. It's going to be quite a sort of secret agent mafia type weird gang member rubbish that we got into. I'm guessing that's what the sort of situation's going to be. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing. And so then the third and fourth pages are basically, oh, here we go. So she says that we have to be gone within the next hour and pack all our stuff up. We have to pack up all our stuff up. She also says to not attempt to call the police, or go to the police, or tell anyone else. Otherwise, the boys will find us and they will hurt us, because they'll know exactly where we are. I'm guessing maybe they put some sort of tracking device or some sort of something like that on our devices, or like under our cars or whatever. And so my mum, I think I'm going to add this part of the story. I haven't written that down yet because this is as far as I've gotten to. But what I was thinking of doing is writing down the stuff that I've got. Where in the film, my mum has just had a surgery or an injury to on her knee, so she can't drive. Because we have to, everything's urgent. I have to drive, even though I'm not legally with the car. But it doesn't really matter at this point, because if you break a small law like that, it's better off being dead. You know, that's just the rational side to everything. So, so that's what we've got to. I'm just still trying to figure out what sort of car we can drive. So in my dream, it was a Peugeot with certain types of wheel trims. And in my dream, the reason I wanted that car, it was at first in my dream, it was a rental car, and it was in front of a house that's nearby here, which is actually quite a dodgy place. But so that was my dream. It was a Peugeot, but since obviously in the US, the Peugeots basically don't exist, and if they do, it's like really really old ones, but or imported ones, like old imported ones, but still. So the more common vehicle I was going to go for is probably something like an old car, like what car? Like a Toyota Camry, like some sort of stereotypical first car, you know, like whatever. Maybe a Geo Metro, because I love Geo Metros, and Chevy Metros. I think they're the same vehicles. But anyway, that's what I was thinking of doing there. Getting some sort of vehicle, and my mum's vehicle is going to be some sort of like Cadillac or some sort of maybe Range Rover, but it depends what sort we can do for the film. It doesn't really matter about them sorts of details for the vehicle, as long as it's like as long as it gets us from A to B, which is in this case is Richmond to Nashville, and yeah, so that's what I've gotten so far. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write down and rewrite everything. So flashback, to 3 months before Yeah, before. Flashback 3 months before. Film set in US. Specifically, Richmond, Virginia, and Nashville, Tennessee. I think Tennessee is TN. Tennessee. I'm pretty sure it is. So Virginia is VA, and then Tennessee is TN. I'm pretty sure it is TN, but oh well. If I'm wrong, I don't really care. So that's what I've got so far. I'm trying to write down a lot easier. These pens, these are my favourite types of pens because they're just easier to write in for me. But this is like all like really messed up handwriting. Can you really see that? And then this is sort of a bit better, but I think my screen is starting to be a bit. Here we go. What time is it? It's 10:48. So it's 10 to 11. Okay, at night. And I shouldn't really be drinking shandy, but I am. And no, it's not illegal. I'm in my house, so. But yeah, anyway, so. What I've got now is flashback to 3 months before. Film set in the US, specifically Richmond, Virginia, and Nashville, Tennessee. So it's going to start off in Richmond, Virginia, and then we have to try and kind of travel to Nashville, Tennessee. So sort of like a country trip, if it makes sense, like a sort of like part-way cross-country trip. So I don't know why. There has to be a reason why we actually travel from each place. Like the film already specifies why we leave Richmond, but it doesn't really specify why we're going to Nashville. And there has to be a reason for that. Maybe someone we know, or someone or maybe we're just going there anyway because it's just we feel like we're safer there, or we have some sort of family members, or that has to be. I have to sort of really think hard about that one because in my dream there were the two cities that were in my dream, and I'm trying to sort of include them in the dream, but maybe we can change it around instead of instead of leaving the state, we can stay in the state, or maybe we can sort of travel to a closer state because I think Tennessee is like 1,000 miles from Richmond. I'm not sure, but it just depends because they're the cities that I've got behind in my dream. I'm trying to include the same cities, so I don't know. So there has to be a reason why we're going to to Nashville. I'm really stuck and confused on that. But anyway, so just trying to go, and so I have a confrontation with someone in my athletics group, athletics team at school. At school. But I think that realistically, if there's going to be someone in the same team, in the same school, then surely in real life and in realistic situation, someone will do something about, the threat that we had, and everyone else knowing that they're part of a gang. Or they might be part of a gang. I've got an itchy nose now, but I think realistically that's going to be a bit of a struggle with this, and we have to try and make it into a realistic situation in that regard. But at the same time, it is the American school system, so I wouldn't be really surprised if they did absolutely nothing about anything, because that is it's the American school system after all. Like, what do you really expect? But But surely, if it's something of that magnitude, then they'd at least do like something about it, wouldn't they? Anyway, so I have a confrontation with someone in my athletics team at school. Everyone thinks everyone is scared and afraid of him because he is involved with a dangerous gang in Richmond. Okay, there we go. So that's what I've gotten so far. So it says flashback to 3 months. Actually, no, sorry. First of all, it says film set in the US, specifically Richmond, Virginia, and Nashville, Tennessee. Flashback to 3 months before. I have a confrontation with someone in my athletics team from school. Everyone is a bit scared and afraid of him because everyone thinks he's involved and is pretty sure he's involved in a dangerous gang in Richmond. So that's what I've got so far. My handwriting's a lot better today than it was yesterday because you can definitely see, if it's not too blurry, that's my essay's handwriting, and that's today's. It's much better. So yeah, I think it's because I've been rushing the first part just to get like the rough idea out. I wasn't really too worried about the stuff that I was doing. So okay, so how long have I been doing it? Almost 20 minutes. Okay, so 17 minutes and about 25 seconds that I've been recording. So that's cool. In Richmond, the confrontation starts when I beat him in running and long jump. He tells me to watch my back because wait, so I think what he's going to say is something along the lines of, you better watch your back, you better watch your effing back because someone's going to get hurt. Yeah. So there we go. So that's what I've done, and I don't know, because I'm just thinking that in a realistic situation, I'm not really sure if it's really very realistic to find a car that might be being sold it's not really realistic if I'm having a rivalry or some sort of, I've had like a death threat from someone who's in a dangerous gang, and someone from that dangerous gang is selling a car that I'm interested in buying. I'm not really sure that's a really realistic situation to be in. But you know what, I'm keeping it in, because we have to be realistic. You know, some situations can be really weird in life. It doesn't have to be sort of like the sort of sandbox sort of stuff where it's just like you're following like the sort of like the bland sort of stuff. Like, there has to be sort of new ideas to stuff, and it's going to be a film anyway. So why not just do it Hollywood style and just say, you know, it's going to be quite crazy and whatever. And that's what I'm thinking. So that's what I've got so far, and that's a lot better. No, sorry, I can't speak. That's a lot better handwriting than before, so I can read a lot better now. So the next paragraph I've got is the confrontation starts when I beat him in running and long jump. He tells me to watch my back because someone, me, might get hurt. Because I'm thinking that the script that's going to be is him going to say, "You better watch your effing back, mate, because someone's going to get hurt." Like, that's what he's saying in a really threatening way, and that's what I was thinking of doing. And I have some sort of, but there has to be some sort of way. I think I might be overthinking this, but there has to be some sort of way and some sort of reason and explanation about why they're trying to track me down and trying to track my family down, like me and my mum and whoever. And so there has to be some sort of reason for that, not just that one thing. Maybe that can be what it is, and then maybe we sort of see the people from the gang that that everyone thinks he's involved in, sort of suspicious cars parked outside our house and stuff. And maybe that can work, and or we get some sort of like weird parcels or weird or we get some sort of weird vandalising and people like things in our house. Maybe that can be some sort of like the situations and that sort of lead up to the to when they actually try and track us down. So that's what I've been thinking of trying to do. So I'm going to write that down quickly in the thing. So I'm going to leave the second draft where it is, and actually write down on the old piece of paper what I've got down. So what I've got down is, what's the time now? 22.5 minutes that I've been recording this, but so after that confrontation, I've like confrontation, weird and suspicious stuff starts to happen. Starts to happen to me and my mum. My friends also try to distance themselves. I can't spell. Distance. Themselves from me, because they're scared of what are they scared of? They're scared of the people, but how do I word it? They're scared of them getting involved with me and the gang, who might be stalking us. So that's what I've gotten so far. Okay, so so after that confrontation, weird and suspicious stuff starts to happen to me and my mum. My friends also try to distance themselves from me because they're scared of getting involved in the situation that I'm in, and the gang, and they don't want to just be involved and get into my sort of problems or whatever. What friends they are, but I can't really blame them, to be completely honest. Like, to be completely honest, I'd probably be in the same situation if my life was on the line and I had the choice of, there was no other way of I either distance myself from the person who was involved in something, or I get involved in myself. I'd probably if I like pretty much everyone that I can think of, maybe not my immediate family, but everyone else, I don't think, including friends, I don't think I would want to be near them either, to be completely honest. So I can't really blame them in that regard, but it all depends. Because what good is it for me if I'm dead, or I get my life ruined or messed up because of not distancing myself from the person who's involved in something really bad? If that makes sense. That's just my mentality. Other people are probably going to call me stupid for that, but oh well. So that's what I've got so far. So over the next few months, over the next few months. Oh, actually, I've got an idea. You know what I'm gonna do? Instead of me wanting to buy a car, my first car. Instead of doing that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change that now to we start to get really strange phone calls, and we start to get like letters and stuff in the post, start like threaten us and stuff and whatever, and just like leaving us really weird stuff and like cars outside our things. Because the car situation, if I want to buy a car, then the chances are it's not really going to work, be a realistic situation if I knew or had a suspicion that the people involved were going to be part of the gang that I was involved in, if that makes sense. So over the next few months, me and my mum start getting weird phone calls and letters slash what parcels, packages in the post. People outside occasionally we see suspicious cars crawling and stopped outside our house. So one day I had enough. One day I've had enough. Hold on. This was one day where I just decided, you know what, enough's enough. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. And okay, so hold on. My friends also start to get threats and are blackmailed into distancing themselves from me and from me. So my friends also start to get threats and are blackmailed into distancing themselves from me. In the middle of the night, the phone starts ringing and ringing. Yeah, so the phone keeps ringing and ringing. About like in the middle of the night. Pissed off, my mum answers it. I'm still in bed. Oh, welcome to live stream. I'm still sleeping, and I am completely welcome to live stream. Completely unaware of what's going on. My mum frantically wakes me up. So my mum frantically wakes me up and tells me to pack up and that we need to go. That we need to go right now. So what I've done in this story is the first part of the story that I had yesterday when I sort of I wrote down this stuff. I said that the first part of the story, which is when I had a confrontation with someone who was involved in a gang, and they said that they would be tracking me and I had to watch my back. And then the next I had to watch my back, yeah. And the part that I've changed is, instead of me purchasing a car from someone who's possibly in that same gang, because that's quite unrealistic and it's not really too good of a story, to me at least, what I was thinking of doing is changing that up. I've just changed it up now, where instead of that car and I pay for a car, we start to get strange phone calls. Like after that confrontation, we start to get, me and my mum start to get really weird phone calls in the middle of the night and stuff, and weird packages, not in the middle of the night, just in general. And we get weird packages and weird letters, and like cars are parked outside or crawling past our house, like suspicious cars, activity, and people are sort of like scoping out the place. So we start to get really freaked out. And one night, a few months after the first confrontation, my mum gets the phone keeps ringing. I'm fast asleep in the middle of the night, and then my mum, the phone keeps ringing, so she answers it, and she gets a phone call from someone who is telling us to pack up all of our stuff, and leave the city, which is Richmond. Leave the city by 6 a.m. for example, 6 o'clock. Otherwise, her and the boys will be at the house, and they will kill us basically, or they'll hurt us. So it's like a mafia type, gang related sort of stuff. So that's what I was thinking of doing. Oh, nice. That stuff. There you go. I almost picked up this stuff. That needs to be mixed with lemonade. I'm not going to drink that as it is. Because I've got Pringles, I've got lemonade, and I've got Budweiser. And I haven't had a shandy in like 6 or 7 months. So it's always nice to have one once in a while. Anyways, and also I'm also 16 and I'm at home, so it's technically perfectly legal. So don't try and call the police on me because it's not going to work. But oh well. Anyway, carrying on. So my mum wakes me up and tells me to pack up all our stuff because we need to go right now. She explains to me that we have to be out of Richmond by, say for example, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. or people will try to hurt us. She then points at a car that's parked outside our house with its lights off and engine running. So yeah. So that's what I've got so far. I've gotten to roughly the same sort of place I was yesterday, but I've sort of revamped a lot of the story. So, take 2. So take 2 of the story. And then take 1 is for the first part, so take 1. Take 1. Take 1. Okay, so that's what I've got so far. And I'm going to leave it off where I am, and hopefully I'm going to be trying to lucid dream tonight, because I was thinking of doing that for a long time now. I did try to lucid dream before, it didn't really end up too well. Some weird stuff ended up happening, I ended up getting too scared and not being able to do it for the past few months. Even when I try to, I just never really do it anyway. But still, anyways, that's what I've gotten so far. Hope you enjoyed, and I'm going to finish off my shandy and my Pringles and then go to bed. That's the life, just Pringles and shandy. Why not? Do you know, I've had these Pringles for about 20 minutes. Well, it's probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours, but still. About a quarter of them left. Oh well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and yeah, bye guys.